Hello and welcome to this edition of Ringside Digest. I'm your host Kirk today, along with my co-host Nick Miller. And in this video, we're going to be talking about something that a lot of you are probably questioning right now with the title of this video. We're going to be talking about the Florida Panthers and why they are the best team in the NHL. And I know some of you guys probably won't agree with this. We're not saying the most talented team in the NHL right now, but they are the best team in the playoffs, left in the playoffs. Well, obviously, there's only 3 teams left. But in consideration of who have they played, what the playoffs have looked like in the regular season, they are the best team in the NHL, and we'll be explaining why in this video. Before we get into it, though, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this and more stuff we have along the way. It's going to be very exciting. We have a lot of stuff coming. I'm sure you'll like it. So we're going to go straight into the video here. So we're going to be explaining the real reason the Panthers are the best team in the NHL. And like I said, a lot of you guys are probably questioning the decision behind this idea that we have, but you got to hear us out. You have to hear what we say, and then you could probably sway your mind a bit if you don't agree with us already. So we know how good the Panthers have been in this playoffs. They won yesterday, and now we're going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Beating the Carolina Hurricanes in a 4-0 series. You can see here by their playoff bracket, getting a Game 7 win, a very, very big comeback in the series against the Boston Bruins, dominating the Toronto Maple Leafs, winning that series 4-1. And then just yesterday, sweeping the Carolina Hurricanes 4-0. Arguably, their playoff competition getting harder along the way, and it seems like they have only gotten better. Now, during the regular season, I think a lot of us count us out. I know I did, or I counted the Panthers out. I'm sure I did. I'm positive I did. We were like, but in the end of it, the last few games of the regular season, they almost missed the playoffs, depending if whatever the Penguins did and whatever happened in the last few games. But they managed to squeak their way in, knowing because we've been tracking that second first-round pick from the Montreal Canadiens, seeing if they got eliminated and where the pick would be. But you can see here by the regular season stats, that team, they only had one person that was either on or close to 100 points, and that was Matthew Tkachuk. The rest were hovering around the 70s. But in their playoff points, which you can see here, this team had some people shine. Everybody was shining on this team the whole playoffs. You can see Sam Bennett went from 40 points in the regular season to 11 in the playoffs. A big point differential in points per game from those two. But we got to say, then, the Panthers have been incredible. And we're like, Nick, what do you think about it? What do you think how the Panthers have done and how good they are? This whole team working together.
Well, it's like a well-oiled machine, like we were talking about last night. We were watching that game. Like it's just crazy. Like, you see all the things they do on the ice, and you look at it, you say, okay, they may not have the most talented players in the league. Sure, they have some talent, like top-tier talent, like Tkachuk, Barkov, and Verhaeghe had 40 goals this year. So there's a lot of talent like that, but they have everything like the makings of a championship team. And it's always a team that you have written off like the year before, is it not? Like, I remember 2019, Tampa Bay lost in the first round with that sweep by Columbus. Or like in my bracket next year, I was like, yeah, they're not going to do anything. They got swept in the first round last year. Come out, win the Stanley Cup, and they win 2 in a row. And then Colorado keep losing in the second round. And everyone remembers that speech from McKinnon saying, like, I'm in my 10th year and I haven't won anything. And then he comes out and they win the Stanley Cup the next year. And then Florida wins the President's Trophy last year, having a historic season for their franchise in the regular season, and they can't get it done. They get swept in the second round. I don't even think I had them making the playoffs this year. I didn't. And I believe I said in our prediction video, you guys don't belong here. It's over. So I'll take that one. I'll take that L. But it didn't realistically, I didn't think they had a shot against that Bruins team, because you wouldn't think that the Panthers would be able to outplay a team like Boston with all that playoff experience. Those guys have been through everything together, and then they throw in a bunch of talented players. So what the Panthers have been able to do this playoff run, it's just incredible. Like, I can't believe that we see this team working so well together, like especially after that demoralizing loss to Tampa Bay last year in the second round. Like, you think, oh, good, we got the second round. Then you just lose to your division rival, like in your own state, in 4 games. They come into this playoff, they're playing with house money, and they're playing well with it.
Yeah, you said it the best way you can. This team is like a well-oiled machine. You can tell by in the interviews with all the players like Matthew Tkachuk that how close-knit they are in the dressing room as well, on the ice, the dressing room as well. This team, they have nothing to lose, and they know that. They came into this playoffs barely making it. You can tell that they have to just keep winning, because there's no pressure on them. They weren't supposed to be there in that first place, barely making the playoffs, then going out against the Bruins, and then coming out against the Leafs, and then the Hurricanes. They just have looked better and better every game they've played. It's just, it almost looks like the chemistry they've had over the past series have just even gotten more and more, if that's even possible. Like, they already seem so close in that the Bruins win. That's when I think that this team actually came together and had true belief that beating the best regular season team of all time, they can do whatever they wanted, whatever they put their mind to in this playoffs, and they proved that they've been doing that. There's also one thing that we have not mentioned in this video that is a major factor into the Panthers' success this season. That is Sergei Bobrovsky. His stats in the playoffs have been absolutely incredible. You can see in 13 games that he started, he's 11-2, losing his first game against the Bruins and losing one against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But being 11-2 with a 215 goals against and a 935 save percentage in a playoffs against three incredible teams, not only in the regular season, but also in the few games they have played in the playoffs, it's outstanding. You know how good that Bruins team, we've been talking about it all year, as well as the Maple Leafs team. They only got better, both those teams, at the trade deadline. And then you've got the Hurricanes coming out, playing a bit of a weird series against the Islanders where they kind of had to play defensive. It wasn't their game, but they got out of it. Going against a Devils team that got to Game 7 against the Rangers, another incredible team who've only added since the trade deadline. Beating them, and then coming out against the Devils and just beating that team who beat the Rangers. They've only gotten... There's no easy game at all for Bobrovsky in this series, but you can tell by the games he's had 30, 40, 50 saves a game and winning them. It's incredible. So, Nick, tell me what you think about Sergei Bobrovsky and how he's impacting this team.
I think there's a Conn Smythe battle here going on between Matthew Tkachuk and Sergei Bobrovsky. It's almost crazy what Bobrovsky's been able to do, especially after everyone kind of writing Bobrovsky off a little bit after, it's almost because of his contract, you know? Like, I don't think people would have looked that badly upon him before, like, if his contract wasn't so much money. It's kind of like what happened with Carey Price in 2021. He's come out in the playoffs and just doing, he's back into that ultimate, God mode in net. But we know Bobrovsky has it in him. He's won 2 Vezina trophies. We knew he had it in him, but we just thought he was past his prime. But clearly he is playing, some of the best hockey of his career. And I've seen some people say that even if they lose in the final, Sergei Bobrovsky could pull a J.S. Shigeru and win the Conn Smythe Trophy himself anyway, because he's played so well, and especially with the competition they've had to go up against, it's absolutely insanity. With Sergei Bobrovsky, I think it's almost like the Capitals in 2018. They had Philip Grubauer. They had him start the first couple games. They got down to a series deficit. They brought back in the guy who's supposed to be the guy for their starter in Holtby, and they rode him all the way to the Stanley Cup, and it kind of looks like that's what's going to happen with Bobrovsky here.
Yeah, credit to Alex Lyon as well, who played the first 3 games of this after barely playing too much in the year because Spencer Knight is out into the NHL assistance program. So, that was pretty much a 50-50 situation between Knight and Bobrovsky. I don't think it was exactly 50-50 or close on it, but they split the games pretty well. Bobrovsky coming out here, and he's played 2 full series, every game of those series, and then pretty much the last bit of the Boston one. He hasn't had much of a break, and there's no easy task for him, but he wants this. You can tell by the way he's playing and the absolute hype of a team that I very much enjoy watching, the Florida Panthers, as well as Paul Maurice, who's coaching that team fantastically. You can see the hype on him on the bench. He don't want to get too excited. He's not that style of coach. He's an old school coach, but you can tell his excitement going into these final few games heading to the Stanley Cup Finals here. That's all we got for this video. Let us know down below in the comments what you think about this Florida team. If they're the best team in the NHL, the most talented team, which they might not be, but they're playing so well together that you could almost say they are. So let us know what you think down below. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, and also make sure to subscribe. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to see more stuff from us all throughout the year, off the off season, make sure to subscribe. Yeah, so thank you for watching.